Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to the replay if you're catching this later. But hello, if you are maybe on a little lunch break, able to join me for a quick live. I have done something a little bit new, and I wanted to make sure that as many people knew about it as possible, whether you are already a Yoga with TG member or if you are not quite yet. And maybe you weren't quite yet because you weren't sure maybe what's in there or if it would meet you where you are. If you are newer to me, or if you have known me for a little bit, hopefully you know that one of my passions is definitely helping people find yoga and to be able to find the yoga that is best for them. And knowing and learning how to adapt the practice for you versus trying to adapt yourself for some other practice. I think we do that a lot in our health and fitness journeys. We hear about something that is, quote unquote, good for us, and we feel like we have to contort ourselves or force ourselves into that type of practice or that type of exercise. And I think yoga can unfortunately maybe feel like that for some people, that it's going to be splits and handstands and headstands and all sorts of things that you're going to have to be able to do right off the bat. And you don't ever have to do any of those things. And so in my membership, I previously have all levels of flows. I also have chair yoga practices. But what's new that I started actually with my live members only class earlier over the weekend is I switched things up. So there are some people who want a little bit of a blend. They like chair yoga, they like regular yoga, but somewhere they almost want to be in the middle. And I think this makes a lot of sense that you may be able to get down onto the floor. You may prefer actually to get onto the floor for some of the early stretches and for the cool down and for Shavasana, which is often our favorite. But that doesn't mean that you want the full up and down during the middle of the flow for the sun salutations. Maybe if you take a class and you feel like the sun salutations are cued where you're falling behind and you feel like it's too much getting up and down, or in the standing flow, you like the standing poses, but you don't want to get all the way down and have to get back up. So what I did this week, and I'm going to be doing more of and adding more and more to the online membership, is that blend of both. So starting on the floor and finishing on the floor, on the mat, and practicing doing a little bit of down dog. I know several people who have shared that they like to still do one or two down dogs, but they don't necessarily want that all the others in between, that they still want to be able to do it to practice getting up off the floor, practice those skills, but not do as many as a full flow would do. So this flow is a choose your own adventure, is what I called it. So the verbal cues of the practice are of an all levels flow. But the visual is me doing some of those cues the way they are cued, the warm up and the cool down at the end, but beginning with the sun salutations and moving through the standing portion. The visual cues are me taking those verbal cues and adapting them for a chair so that you can hear the regular cues of the class, but you can see me showing how I can adjust those if I want to use a chair for the middle of the practice. And this is one of the key things I like to show and demonstrate is that if you are using a chair, if you are using a block, if you're using any sort of adaptations or modifications, it doesn't mean that you can't use a regular video or a regular class, that you have to somehow take a specific type of class that's cued differently. So I am playing the verbal cues of just a regular class that you could follow, or you can see how I take the same pace, the same cues, and I adjust them to meet me where I'm at. And so I was going to show you a few pictures of what this might look like. And also, if you remember, I'm going to show you what it looks like in our portal as well. And so you can see here, I am doing a runner's lunge, framing my front foot there on the chair. Here is, we did eagle for the balance portion. And you can see not only am I next to the chair, at some point I have one hand on the chair, I'm also using the block for my foot. The child's pose in between some of the standing work, you can see that I just sat and I hang heavy. There's that runner's lunge picture we already looked at. We did some crescent lunge work with a chest expansion. And so here's a shot. You can see I have one arm back behind me and I am opening that chest, but it's not as intense. I'm still using the chair to help. And for that runner's lunge twist, you can see I am using my chair and I'm able to twist and get that really good stretch without being all the way down on the mat. And if you are a member, this is our replay class. Let me see if I can drag this over. And this is what it will look like in the membership. It is called, as I said, the Choose Your Own Adventure, full or with a chair. And so this really gives you that chance to try out whichever way you like and to even just watch and see how I adapt. And actually this thumbnail picture is pyramid and how I did the chair with that. So I'm hoping that this gives you a sense of, again, just a little nugget of what you might find in the membership, what options there are. There's full chair, there's all the way up to sculpt, there's challenging flows, there's flows of all kinds and types and lengths, and whatever you need to be able to have that practice that you want and that meets you where you are each day of your practice. And I always enjoy as well having requests come in and saying, hey, I want this type of practice, or I need this type of practice. Happy to take requests, or if there are certain poses that you have come across in flows, but you're just not sure how to adjust them or adapt them or use a chair for them, you can always reach out to me and I'm happy to answer those questions. So I'm hopeful that if you are a member, that you'll hop in and try this out and let me know what you think. If you're not yet a member and this actually feels like a really good match for you, I hope that you'll start your first week free and hop in and make the most of the end of 23, getting ready, kind of launching into that new year and making it the best and the best maybe we have ever felt. So let me know if you have questions, and I hope to see you checking out this flow in the membership this week.